So this is our third grant through Western SARE, and this project we're looking at how much can we improve yields of seedlings and crops with irrigating out of our aquaculture system versus just regular water. And we're also looking at how can we make fish production more sustainable on the farm. And for us, the input was fish feed. So now we're looking at rearing and producing our own fish feed. And we want to see if we can get a similar growth as we would with the hatchery feed with eliminating that extra input. I'm Rylan Morton-Starner, and I own Forestdale Farm, and we're located in Flagstaff, Arizona. It's me, my wife, Jamie, and then we have two kids, Arlo and Aries. So we specialize in the leafy greens and microgreens. Those are kind of our big main crops. We do squash, different things as it gets warmer, and then we do a lot of seedling production for the community. I have some background in working with fish. I was a fish biologist before I worked at USGS, and I had experienced early on with aquaponics. So for us, it made a lot of sense to have aquaculture systems directly feeding in-ground production. The key thing about raising fish is making sure that the water quality is good, especially in a closed system. So you're really trying to mimic what happens in nature. And the end result is you have a water that's higher in nitrate, which is essentially nitrogen, and that's exactly what plants need for growth. So by irrigating out of that, you can get that extra growth on the plants. You can also get that nutrients that helps improve the soil. The biggest thing that really surprised me was how much improvement you can get on seedling production. So just irrigating your seedlings out of an aquaculture system, we had plants that we put side by side, and it's literally the ones from the system are twice as big. For our yields, we saw one bed that is watered from our fish systems. It varied depending on the crop and the time of the year, but it was about a 30% increase in a lot of yields. And the other really beneficial thing that we saw was on our cut and come again crops. So a lot of our lettuces we cut up to 3 times, and the regrowth and just the quality improved in those systems. And we saw a lot of improvement in the soil microbial action, and then increased nitrogen in the soil as well. The great thing about this system is that if you're using fertilizer, it will reduce that cost naturally because you're getting all that nutrients coming out of the water. For us, we use mostly compost. So the real cost saving for us is not having to apply that compost as heavily or use as much of it. So we're in our high tunnel right now, and this is where we have a lot of our replication tanks set up. Inside of these tanks, these are the 200-gallon tanks we have catfish in them. Hatchery feed is formulated for maximizing growth, but it's also a commercial enterprise. So we're looking, what do fish really eat in the wild? Can we grow something similar that's getting them the nutrients that they need and see that same growth on them, eliminating that extra input? So we have 2 tanks where we're feeding just hatchery feed, and we have 2 tanks we're feeding mealworms, and then we have 2 tanks we're feeding red wigglers. These are our worm bins, and we have 2 bins so we can kind of cycle from one to the other. So we can get a really strong worm colony in one bin, and then we can harvest worms from the other bin to feed the tanks. So we don't actually have the worms in here yet. It's basically just a bunch of soil and food scraps that we'll put in here. The worms will break that down. They'll reproduce, so we kind of have a continuous supply that we can feed the fish. We decided to focus on catfish, and we're looking to use that as another commodity for the farm, another source that we can sell. We've had restaurants, different places reach out, interest in selling catfish particularly. And the great thing about catfish is they're a very hardy fish species, so you can rear them in a pond with very limited management on them. And the other benefit is all these systems, like red wiggler worms, you get another commodity even out of that, such as worm casting, composting. It really benefits the sustainability of the farm, but it also is an economic benefit. Water is actually the biggest sustainable practice that I feel is important for our area. Being an arid, high desert area, we have limited water resources, so anything we can do to make water sustainable, it's very important for sustainability. We have these on to kind of protect the fish, and these are also a great surface to raise seedlings on. You can irrigate, water the seedlings, and the water will just drain right back into the tank, so really sustainable for water conservation. This is our catchment pond. This is about a 16,000 gallon. We have it dug really deep so we can prevent evaporation, have less surface area. And we have a pond cover that we can roll out to cover it. That'll decrease the evaporation that we get on water. And it also serves to heat the water so we can get bigger growth on the fish we have in this system. And also, we're a small farm, so how can we maximize our yield in the space we have? Land is very expensive in our area, so if you can increase yield, build your soil, conserve water, then that's kind of the 3 main pinch points, and the Western SARE grant was able to help us dive into that. It's really fun to think about it as what can you do more sustainable? How can you close the loop system? So if you have something that you're constantly having to input to the system, can you rear that on the farm? Can you create more production and improve your soil all within a closed loop system? I think the biggest thing was once we had the data and once we started the experiment was just having that extra produce for sale really benefits the farm. We were able to offer more to our community in the same amount of space by increasing those yields. Without Western SARE, we may have some fish production on the farm, but we wouldn't really be able to scale it to what we have, and we wouldn't be able to have all that data and information to share with the public and with other farmers. It's really important for people to see those results. We have fish on the farm, we see this yield, we see this improvement in soil. People really respond to that.